For thousands of years, we have asked the same question: who is God? The answer changed many times, until a single moment transformed history forever. Today, we will explore how humanity's idea of God has evolved, and why Jesus became the central figure for millions of people. In the very beginning, humans did not think of a single, all-powerful God. They looked at the sky, the storms, the sun, and the animals, and saw power everywhere, and for them, the divine was in the rain that gave life, in the fire that brought warmth, and in the earth that produced food. Their gods were forces of nature, spirits, symbols of fertility and protection. God was not one. God was everything they could not control or explain. In time, people began to imagine gods who looked more like themselves, with emotions, intentions, and personalities. They created stories to explain why the world behaved the way it did. Stories of gods who loved, punished, guided, or protected. Civilizations from Egypt, Greece, Rome, and many others built entire systems of belief, each with their own gods and myths. For them, the divine was still powerful, but now it had a face, a name, a story. This shift changed everything, because once humans imagined gods who felt what we feel, they began to ask new questions. Why are we here? What does God want from us? And what is the purpose of life? But everything changed with the rise of one small nation, the people of Israel. They believed something revolutionary for their time, that there was only one God, one single creator, one source of truth, justice, and meaning. This idea was powerful. A God who was not tied to nature, not limited by storms, mountains, or animals, but a God who existed beyond everything. For the first time, God was seen as moral, a being who cared about right and wrong, who made covenants with people, and who walked with humanity through their struggles. This belief shaped entire cultures and became the foundation for the world's great monotheistic religions, Judaism,
Christianity,
and later Islam. But the story did not end there, because something happened that changed the idea of God forever, a moment that shifted history and redefined faith for millions around the world. Jesus of Nazareth entered the scene, a humble teacher from a small town who spoke with authority, healed the sick, and showed compassion to the forgotten. To his followers, Jesus was not just a messenger. He was the face of God. God made close. God made human. A God who walked beside people, who felt their pain, and who offered hope in a broken world. His life, his teachings, and his sacrifice transformed the way humanity understood the divine. God was no longer distant, but personal, present, and full of love. After Jesus, everything changed. His message spread across continents, carried by people who believed they had witnessed something divine. Artists painted God with emotion. Musicians wrote hymns of hope. And communities built churches as places to feel his presence. For many, God was no longer a distant creator watching from the sky, but a father who understood human suffering, a guide who listened to prayer, and a source of strength in moments of fear. The image of God became more personal than ever. A God who forgives, who heals, and who offers new beginnings to anyone who seeks him. This transformation shaped the modern world and continues to inspire millions of hearts today. Today, people still ask the same question: who is God really? Not just from religion, not just from tradition, but from the deepest part of the human heart. Some search for God in moments of silence, others in moments of pain, and many discover him in small acts of love that change lives quietly. Because even today, the desire to understand the divine continues to guide humanity. For some, God is still a mystery, a presence they cannot fully describe, but they feel something greater watching over them. For others, God is a companion, someone who walks with them through fear, loneliness, and uncertainty. And for millions around the world, Jesus remains the clearest window into the heart of God, the one who revealed a God of compassion, a God who forgives, and a God who invites us to begin again. Across history, the idea of God has changed, but the need for hope has never disappeared. Every generation asks the same questions. Why are we here? What is our purpose? Does God listen, even when we feel alone? Many believers find their answer in prayer, not because they always receive what they want, but because prayer reminds them that God is near, closer than fear, closer than doubt, closer than pain. And through the life of Jesus, millions discovered a God who understands the human heart, a God who suffered, who cried, who loved deeply, and who offered forgiveness even to those who failed him. This vision of God continues to shape lives today, in families that pray together, in people who choose kindness in a world full of anger, and in hearts that fight to keep faith alive despite struggle. The journey of understanding God never truly ends, because every person discovers him in a different way, some through scripture, some through miracles, some through quiet reflection, and some through the small blessings that appear when we least expect them. Even now in the modern world, the search for God continues. People look everywhere for meaning, in science, in relationships, in achievements, but still, something inside the human heart keeps asking the same question: is there something more? And for many, the answer appears in the quiet moments of life. Moments when everything feels uncertain, moments when we face loss, or when we feel an emptiness that nothing on earth can fill. It is in those moments that the idea of God becomes real again, a presence that whispers hope when fear speaks loudly, a light that appears when everything feels dark. The story of God is not just a story from the past, it is a story that keeps unfolding every day. In every prayer, in every act of kindness, in every heart that searches honestly for truth, and through the life and teachings of Jesus, millions discover a God who is not distant or silent, but a God who understands human struggle, a God who feels, a God who cares, a God who walks with us even when we don't notice. The evolution of the idea of God is really the evolution of the human heart. A journey of questions, doubts, faith, and discovery, and the journey continues for each of us. If you're listening to this, your journey is important too. Your questions matter. Your doubts matter. Your search matters, because every step you take toward understanding God opens a new chapter in your own story. Life continues to move forward, and with it, the search for God continues as well. Every day, people around the world face challenges that push them to look beyond themselves. Illness, loss, confusion, moments where human strength is simply not enough. In those moments, people discover something unexpected, a quiet strength that appears inside them, a feeling of peace they cannot explain, a hope that rises even when everything seems hopeless. For many, this is where God becomes more than an idea. He becomes a presence, a guide, a comfort, a hand that lifts them when they think they cannot continue. And while the world keeps changing, technology, culture, beliefs, the human heart still longs for connection, for purpose, for something greater than itself. Throughout the centuries, people have found that in their relationship with God, not in perfection, not in certainty, but in trust, in surrender, in choosing to believe that love is stronger than fear. Jesus showed this through his life, not by avoiding suffering, but by walking through it with courage and compassion, not by seeking power, but by serving others, not by condemning, but by forgiving. His example continues to inspire millions today. People who want to live with kindness, with patience, with faith, even in a world that often feels cold or chaotic. If you are listening to this, remember this truth. You are part of this story too. Your life matters. Your questions matter. Your pain matters. And God can meet you right where you are, in your room, in your silence, in your struggle,